Hello, welcome one and all once again to this little show that I like to call Spill It. Spill It is a show that I get to speak to inspirational people and share some inspirational stories to connect people together, inspire others, and help people learn something new. And this episode is no different. This is episode 67, What Comfort Zone, and my two fabulous guests are waiting in the green room. They're going to be joining us at 7:10 p.m. It's Laura and Emilie, and I can't wait for that. So make sure that you stay tuned. Two absolute legends coming onto the show to talk to you about comfort zones. What's your comfort zone? How do you break free of your comfort zones? All of that lot coming up on the Spill It show this evening. Until then, you get 10 minutes of me keeping you company and basically just talking to you. Make sure that when you come here that you like, you share, and you comment. The reason I ask for these three things, if you like it, it means that it becomes watchable content, and the Facebook, YouTube, and Twitch, where we stream to currently, push it up on the algorithms and go, hey guys, this is watchable content. Make sure you come in and watch this, blah, 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 blah. And then if you share it, it means people who are on your friends list, who might not necessarily know what Spill It's all about, they get to see what Spill It's about. And maybe they'll see an episode that they really like, because we cover all different subjects on this show. Like last month, for example, we were talking about LGBT. So we were talking about the LGBTQIA plus community all the way through September because it was Pride. And then lastly, if you comment, it means that we get to interact with those comments live on air. It's as simple as that. So if you got any questions for me, then you can just drop a comment, drop a comment and ask away, and I will answer your question for you. Or if you've got a question for my guests, then all you have to do is drop a comment. Just be part of the episode. It's as simple as that. If you haven't checked out the other episodes yet, then you can do. All you have to do is head over to the Spill It website, www.spillit.uk, where you'll be able to see a run through of every single episode that I have done here at Spill It. Whether you want to see the live shows, so over on Facebook, YouTube, and Twitch, they are all there readily available for you to click on and have a look. Or if you're wanting to listen to the podcasts, so you're walking around, you're walking the dog, you're cleaning your house, you're in the bath, in the shower, where else you driving and doing your shopping, wherever you listen to your podcast, you'll be able to listen to me and all of the episodes that I've done on your favorite podcast streaming method. And all you have to do is go onto the website and you'll be able to see the links for the podcast on there. Make sure that you get those comments and questions rolling through. Let's start interacting with you guys at home, and make sure that you guys are interacting with my guests as well. We're all one big happy family here at Spill It. And of course, don't forget to hit the share button as well and get those new teacups rolling into the Spill It fold. Now, before I continue, I just wanted to let you guys know. This isn't part of tea time, by the way. This is just me talking to you guys on a personal level. So I am not actually that well at the moment. So I'm full of this lurgy that's been running around everywhere. I've not got COVID. I tested negative. I was about to say tested positive. That's because my brain isn't working. I tested negative. I've taken a test for the last 3 days, and then I got a PCR test today as well. And I am completely negative. It's just man flu. So I'm not overly well at the moment, which means that my voice might sound a little bit funny. I'm running on fumes at the minute, but it also might mean that, like, during the episode, I have a coughing fit. I'll do what I can do to mute it, but I just wanted to let you guys know because you guys are absolutely amazing. Emmy's here. Hi, teacup. Yeah, teacup. Emmy, you're like one of my special teacups, aren't you? You're the one that gets your name in the credits. Find out at the end of the episode, by the way, guys, how you can get your name in the credits. There are a few people who actually have their name in the credits. They are the official teacups. But yeah, more of that at the end of the episode. Linda is here saying morning. Morning, Linda. Thank you so much for joining. It's so nice to see you, of course. And Emmy, it sucks, doesn't it? It does. It does. It's horrible. I hate it. Please take it away. I'm going to have a sit-down chat with my white blood cells and be like, come on, sort it out. We're not about this life anymore. Lucy Watson is here as well saying, hi, Lucy. Thank you so much for joining. What a great episode we've got coming up. But right now, it is time for a little bit of tea. That's right, it is tea time. It is my favorite part of the show. It's where I get to talk and talk and talk. I do all that for like 10 minutes anyway, but yeah. Anyway, tea time. So this is a section where I get to speak about things that I found on the Tinterweb, or I give you some special announcements. Well, I wanted to really talk about this because I have a lot of feelings. But I wanted to talk about this in particular. So I found this article, and there's been a few articles over the last few weeks that have made me quite angry. But this one in particular really, really annoyed me. So, nope. That's the incorrect one. I haven't got my glasses on. There we go. Fat shaming. Okay, so let's get into it. Fat shaming. I saw this article today that just made me livid. It was from The Sun. Of course it would be from The Sun. But Vision Impossible. Tom Cruise, 59, has fans puzzled as he looks totally unrecognizable in a rare outing at a basketball game. Now, in the article, they talk about the fact that Tom has either put on weight or he has had implants on his cheekbones or wherever on his face. Firstly, right, the thing is that the reason I had to put this one on is because also a couple of weeks ago I saw an article where another celebrity was shamed because of the fact that they put on a bit of weight. They're now 59 years old and they don't look the same as what they looked like when they were 21. Neither do you. Neither does anybody. I mean, I look amazing for I'm joking. I look absolutely horrid. But I absolutely hated the fact that all of these newspaper articles, especially from The Sun and The Mirror as well, but they are fat shaming or they are age shaming people because of change. It's a natural human thing, and we're allowing these articles and these newspapers to really tell us that we're supposed to be feeling some type of way about these people, about these celebrities, because they've changed because they got older. Like, that's what happens. You fill out, you know, whatever. And if for example, Tom Cruise has had work done, so what? He's got enough money for it. Just let him bloody live his life. If he wants to, like, inject his face with whatever, that's up to him. That is his choice. Get over it. Get over it. There was some comments that have come through already. I'll come back to that one in a minute. But media make this a problem. They do. They make it a huge problem, and I'm not about it. I just think it's rude. So much this. Why is getting old a bad thing? Lots of people don't have that luxury. Exactly. It's just this demonizing the fact that people are getting older, people put on weight, people want to have work done, they want to have cosmetic surgery or whatever. Like they're demonizing that, and I don't appreciate it. I just think that the media, specifically newspapers, specifically The Sun and The Mirror, need to go back into the corner and just have a quiet word with themselves. That's it, really. Plenty of comments coming through about my guest this evening. Lovely Kerry Newton has joined on, saying, hey, bring on the guests. It's my show. I will do what I want to do. Thank you very much. And then Lucy was joining, going, yes, Kerry. Exactly. So it looks like that people don't want me. They want to see my guests. And you know what? I appreciate that. You've had 10 minutes of me. So, yeah. I suppose I best bring out my guests then. But it's nice to see so many people from BCHQ coming in and saying hello. But yeah, that was my tea time. Thanks for letting me rant about my tea, by the way, guys. Okay, as I said, I have talked your ear off for 10 minutes. It is time to bring out my guests for the evening. Both of them, absolute legends. Both of them running their own podcast show, which I'm sure you're going to hear about on today's episode. And both of them are right here, right now. It is time to bring out the ladies of the hour. It is Laura and Emilie. Hello, guys.
Hey.
Hi.
How are you doing?
We're good. How are you?
I'm very well, thank you very much. Loads of comments coming in for you guys. Yeah, Kerry Newton, it's not your show today.
Oh my god.
And then Ruth Phil is saying, yes, Marcus, we love your girls. Yeah. So, yeah.
Feeling the love already. I like it.
Emmy Bell is commenting saying welcome with some love hearts there as well. And Kerry Newton is there. There they are. So that, yeah, basically everybody was just waiting for you guys. And I'm just here as the filler, I suppose, for my own show. Tell you what, I'll just leave the show and just leave you guys to it. How's that?
You go have a rest.
I know. To consider the fact that like I'm not 100% either. I'm doing a hell of a lot of talking. So we're going to play a little game. Are you ready to play a game with me?
Yep, defo.
Awesome. Well, this game then is going to be for Lady Laura. Okay, it is this or that. A game, a nice, easy game to play where I will say either, would you prefer this or that? It's as simple as that, really. And then you just give me the answer. Guys, in the comments, if you wanted to play along as well, make sure that you do. Give me some answers and we can go through them at the end as well. Are you ready to play, Laura?
I am.
Okay, we're going to, because we've got 2 people on tonight's show, we're going to do 5 of these, and then we're going to do 3 of the other game for Emilie, which we'll go into shortly. But here is your first one. Guys, as I say, at home, make sure that you play along as well. Make sure you flood the comments with all of your this or that. The first one is sandals or sneakers?
Trainers. Let's call
Well, yeah,
it
trainers.
what we are, trainers. All day long.
Well, I don't know, because like obviously there's like well, yeah, I'll give you that. Apples or oranges?
Apples.
Okay. Beach or mountains?
Oh, I feel like if I get this wrong, I'm going to get thrown off my bar stool here. I'm going to have to say mountains. A mountain view.
I was going to say, you're going to have to say mountains, aren't you, for like everything that you've been doing? Cricket or football?
Dance. Love Island.
Watch sports or play sports?
Play.
Badly. Watch Love Island.
Yeah. Beyond Love Island.
I love it. And one more for good measure. Sweet or salty?
Salty.
Love it. That was this or that. Okay, Emilie, are you ready to play your game?
I absolutely am.
Good. This game, everybody, is the 5-second rule. uh, 5-second rule is a game that I play with my guests where they have to name 3 somethings, and you've got 5 seconds to name those 3 somethings. Are you ready to play?
Yes.
Okay, guys, you can play at home as well. Obviously, you'll have a lot longer than 5 seconds, but it might be that Emilie misses out on those 5 seconds. So if you've got some answers that might be able to help her out, then make sure you do. Right, here we go. Name Name 3 toothbrush brands.
Oral-B, Colgate. From the beginning, they're Sensodyne.
Hey, well done. Nice one.
Gosh, I got 3.
Okay, name 3 objects that are blue.
A Smurf, blue tack, rubbers.
Rubbers. Okay. Last one. Name 3 things you do when no one is looking.
Dance, sing.
You got 2.
Yeah.
Do you want to? What is your thing?
Is a Smurf an object as well? Can we just? Is it an object?
I'm going to give you an object because it could have been like a toy Smurf or.
Yeah, that's what I meant. Definitely.
Yeah, it's exactly what you meant. Yeah. What would be your third answer?
I was going to go with something like, I don't know. I could play with my ears quite a bit like this. I do that. I can't leave the side like this.
I mean, nobody watches me in the bath.
Yeah, nobody watches me in the bath either. Yeah,
it's hard to think of them.
It is. Because you're thinking like, what do I do that's like dead embarrassing?
Yeah, exactly.
You don't think of like the actual stuff that you genuinely do when no one's watching, like wipe your bum.
Like wipe your bum. Plenty of people in the comments as well. So we had people saying trainers, agreeing with the trainers. We had apples over oranges. Kerry was oranges over apples. Emmy was all about the beaches. We had Ruth all about the mountains. And we also had people agreeing with you with salty. We had Linda saying salty, Emmy saying salty, Ruth saying salty. There you go. We have people on the 5-second rule as well. Blueberries, Thomas the Tank, and a blanket. That would have been your 3-something blues.
Oh, Thomas the Tank. That's a good one.
And Linda had said that you're really good at that game as well. So, yeah, well done.
Not bad considering I chose it because I openly admitted up front that I was going to be rubbish.
Exactly. That was the 5-second rule. Okay, so we're going to get into it. Now I know you guys, and there's plenty in the people. Plenty in the people. That doesn't make sense. There are plenty of people in the comments who know you as well. But for those people who may be listening to this at home via the podcast, or watching this on catch up, or watching in the audience and don't know who you are, who is? We're going to start with you, Laura. Actually, who is Laura?
Travena. So I am a Preston lass. I lived up in Scotland for 10 years with my wonderful husband. So I'm obviously a wife as well. I like to give myself a wife medal all the time because I'm the best wife. Well, my husband's best wife anyway. I'm a sister. I am crazy Auntie Laura to my nephew and lots of other kids as well. I'm a daughter. I just like to bring the fun. I think we realised that that's one of my main purposes in life, isn't it? To bring the fun. Yeah. And Travena, by the way, is my middle name.
Okay.
And I am more than happy to tell you the story if you like.
Yes, please.
Please.
So, this is one of Emily's favourite stories, isn't it? My granddad, when he was a teenager, worked on a farm. And the farmer's wife was called Travena. And my granddad had a huge crush on Travena, the farmer's wife. And then when my mum was born, she was supposed to be called Anne Travena, named after the farmer's wife that my granddad had a crush on at age 14. And he went down to the registry office, had a few scoops on the way, as you do in the olden days, because the dads could go and register the births without the parents or the babies present. And he got it the wrong way around and named her Travena Anne, which I think is a beautiful name, but she was known as Anne forevermore. So, yeah, I am named after my grandfather's childhood crush.
How weird is that? Yeah, wow. Like if you give birth, this is what I think is hilarious. Like if I gave birth and my other half looked at me and said, "Let's name our child after someone else I fancy," you can imagine how that conversation would go down. Can't you? You can imagine how that would go down.
That is what a story. I absolutely love that. But with regards to your name, like your name is not just Laura, is it?
Oh, no, it's not. My full name, darling, is Lady Laura Travena Etherington. You may bow now.
There we go.
Thank you very much.
And it is Lady Laura as well. Can we have a bit of a story, so a bit of context on the lady part, please?
Yeah, we can. A very good friend of mine who I'm hoping he's watching. He doesn't actually have Facebook, so he might be watching on a different platform. I'm not sure. But a friend of mine when I lived in Scotland, he actually bullied me to go on the radio with him, and I'm still part of that show now. But he used to joke that I was posh because, you know, when you've got an English accent and you live in Scotland and around a lot of Ouija's, you know, you sound a bit posh. And he used to say, oh yes, she gets the red carpet out for Laura to come. And then one day he thought it'd be really funny to actually buy me a plot of land up by Coniston somewhere. And I have the certificate saying Lord and Lady Etherington framed in my downstairs toilet.
That is hilarious. You are actually a lady as well.
Yeah,
that is
I could put brilliant. It on my passport if I wanted to.
That is amazing. Amazing story. Thank you so much. And we're going to move on to Emilie now. So who is Emilie Hulme?
So I'm Emilie with an IE instead of a Y. That's my interesting quirk with my name, and that's all you're getting. I am a daughter, a fiance, friend. I'm 29, dog lover, fellow podcaster, gym goer, adventure and outdoor lover, an engineer. That pretty much wraps me up in one, I'd say.
Have you got any interesting facts about you, other than the fact that your name is IE?
Well, I can actually tell you why it's spelled IE. So there is actually a bit.
Yeah, do that.
To be completely honest. So Emilie with an IE came from my mum wanted to call me Emilie. My mum and my dad were discussing names, and my dad said, "There's absolutely no way I'm having a daughter called Emilie because it reminded me of Emily Bishop off Coronation Street." And so, yeah, I got spelt with an IE, and my mum has just joined at the bottom to confirm the story. So, yeah, I am Emilie with an IE, so I don't have it spelt the same way as Emily Bishop from Corrie.
That is amazing. I absolutely love that story. That's made my evening. Especially with your mum coming in as well at that point as you're discussing the story. That was priceless. Okay, we are here to talk about comfort zones. And it's so bizarre actually as well, because I had a previous guest on last week and we started talking about comfort zones. His message was about breaking free of your comfort zones, and I was like, this is really weird actually, because my next week's guests are all about comfort zones, and I just want you to give it a brief overview of what are comfort zones, what do they mean to us, and why is it important to realize what your comfort zones are?
So how brief?
Or you spin that. Ignore that. No briefing. We'll have no briefs in here.
Well, in a nutshell, I think everybody's comfort zone is completely different. But in a nutshell, your comfort zone is where you're doing things where you are the most comfortable, where you make excuses to do something that makes you uncomfortable. So anything that makes you uncomfortable, that scares you, that, you know, is out of the norm for you, is outside of your comfort zone. But doing things outside of the comfort zone and pushing those boundaries can have huge impacts on your mental health and your well-being. And that's something that we got right behind. I mean, we've always both known about it, haven't we? But we got right behind it through the gym that we both go to. And it's something that we learned about them. And we're like, we can talk about this. We
can actually do something with this. There's lots of things that we've done that have pushed comfort zones, and we can help other people try and realize what theirs are, what's dangerous about staying in them, and how they can try and, you know, expand the horizons and see what the benefits are. So
tell me, what is dangerous then about sticking within your comfort zone?
If you're staying in your comfort zone, then you're not growing, you're not developing. You're not being open-minded, you're potentially shutting down opportunities, you're closing doors for yourself, you're putting glass ceilings there that don't exist.
You're being your own worst enemy.
Yeah. you're not allowing yourself the ability to, become a different person and grow.
Yeah, it's one of the things that I've talked about on this show before, where essentially you're standing in your own way, and you've got to move. You've got to move out your own way, shut that inner voice up that's telling you that you're not good enough to do that, and then you can push through those boundaries that you've set up for yourself. Have you got any stories in which you have stuck within your comfort zone and you've not wanted to break free of it?
I think everybody's got stories like that, haven't they? And that could be, I mean, I joked, I think on one of our first episodes, that your comfort zone could be as simple as picking up a different brand of cheese to what you're normally used to, because you're trying something that you're not used to. It doesn't have to be something like going skydiving, or running down the road naked, which is not happening, by the way. We're not doing that one.
No, we're not. I think a point to make there is you've just asked us, can you tell me a story about when you didn't break your comfort zone? And we both went blank because there's no story there, because you're just doing the same thing. It's not something that sticks in your mind. It's not something that you think, oh my God, I'm so proud I did that. Oh my God, I can't wait to tell that person that story about that thing that I did. It's like boring, isn't it? Like we've got no story to tell. Can't tell you that because I can't remember when I did it, but we do it all the time naturally.
So what about a time then that you regretted not coming out of your comfort zone?
I'm not allowed to not come out of comfort zone anymore.
We're kind of in a never say no crew, other than running naked down the street. That is never say no. But no, I think probably if you look back in the past, there'll be plenty of times when you probably regretted not pushing your comfort zone.
Like, I wish I'd done that. I wish I'd tried that. Oh, I wish I'd ordered that instead. You get food envy. Anything can be, because every single person's comfort zone is completely different. So it's Kerry who's on here right now. Her one of her favorite things to do, never say no crew, otherwise known as the Nutters. But one of her favorite things to do is to go wild swimming. Like swimming in the wild water. And that is my absolute idea of hell. Yeah, she's very well. But that's in her comfort zone, and she feels weird if she hasn't done that for a week. Whereas for me, I ran and face planted in some water because
you were being chanted, Laura, Laura.
And it was either throw a paddy or run. But that was totally different. So everybody's walls are different. Everybody's inside space is completely different, and you need to respect that for other people. So when you ask somebody else to do something and they say, don't really, but a lot of people wouldn't actually admit that it's outside their comfort zone and that they feel uncomfortable. But it's about reading those sides and then gently nudging somebody to do something.
Planting the seed a lot of the time, I think. Like, we're completely different, aren't we? Like, you could not find two people more different that have somehow become friends. Laura likes dancing, entertaining, radio hosting. I like being outside, keeping myself to myself, doing adventurous things. And Laura's brought me into the world of radio and podcasting, and I brought Laura into the world of mountaineering and camping. Like, you couldn't find two more different people with two different hobbies, but slowly.
I think actually our mugs say it all.
Yeah. So mine says happy camper, and Laura says
love it. Because obviously we talk, I mean, you're quite right. Obviously, with regards to comfort zones, we all have them. And it's hard to like kind of pinpoint and talk about comfort zones as like a whole. What we're wanting to try and do on today's episode is talk about those comfort zones that have a negative reaction in our life, like the things that we don't break free of and that we can find ourselves just kind of spiraling because we're not coming out of that comfort zone. We're not breaking that cycle. And we want to get free of that negativeness in our life, if you will. Still speaking along your comfort zones, or let's call them boundaries, because that's what they are. They're the boundaries that we've set up, whether they be limited beliefs, or they are boundaries that we put up against other people or whatever. What is a proud moment for you guys where you have realized that stepping out of your comfort zone and doing something new, doing something that you didn't dare to do before, had this brilliant chain reaction?
Wow.
Okay, so I think I could probably go with this one.
Go on then.
So, like Laura, obviously, you had your radio slot.
Mm-hmm.
She invited me on the radio with her. I kind of, after a few beers, agreed and was like, yeah, fine, I'll come on with you. Ended up doing it every week with her. And then we started our own podcast as well, which was really good for me in public speaking. Because as I've said, I'm not really an out there person. I'm, very much myself to myself kind of thing, whereas you're quite the entertainer, so completely different. But as part of, I guess, my career, it's really important that I get better at public speaking, that I am confident in speaking to a crowd and voicing my opinions. And quite recently, I've actually done a talk to the company about kind of like my role and kind of what my department's been going through the last few months and things like that. And I don't think that as a manager, I would have stood up and done that 6 months ago. I think I would have just not decided to put myself out there and just thought people don't really need to know this information, but they do need to know this information. And I need to be capable of, giving them that information in a controlled and comfortable way. So for me, that's one way where it's helped me and it's excelled for me, because I'm definitely a different person in regards to just going for it and putting myself out there. Even telling you that story, to be fair, like that's probably wouldn't have happened 6 months ago.
Yeah.
So
it actually does. That show and doing the podcast as well has given us the opportunity to help other people. Like Ruth's comment just there. Ruth was terrified to come on. She was so nervous. She'd never actually met either of us face to face either. And she absolutely smashed it out of the park. And in fact, Kerry as well. Kerry was the same. In fact, that was actually a challenge, because I'd said to her, come on the radio with me. And she went, only if you come wild swimming. So I kind of got myself in the neck there. But for me, a big breakthrough I'm the worst person to talk about what comfort zones I need to come out of, really, because I literally just go, oh no, I couldn't do that. About everything, don't I? Yeah. Everything. And then she goes, oh, next challenge. But a big breakthrough I had, it was really recent actually. We did, so the reason we all know each other, the reason Emily and I met in the first place was through BCHQ. And we work in like 12-week cycles and we build towards certain goals. And we did a powerlifting competition. You're competing against yourself. And I was like, hey, I can do this. And I had a meltdown, a complete and utter meltdown, to the point where Emily and Kerry had to take me outside and give me a right talking to. Liam, who owns BCHQ, me and him used to do the show together before Emily came along. So he knows he knows how to get in my head and make me do what he needs me to do. And he just went, get it, go away, just go for a walk. And I eventually absolutely killed it. I killed it with what I wanted to lift and what I wanted to do. And I walked away that day. My heart was still hammering later on that day. And the next day, I was like crying I was like, what? I'm capable of so much more than I realized. And if I very nearly just thought, not screw it, through a Laura style tantrum, and I nearly just canned it and went home. But these guys taught me through it. And by doing that, I now realize I am capable. I'm capable of anything I put my mind to. If I want to do it, I can do it. Mm-hmm. Then we've got roller skates and yeah.
With regards to because obviously you both had like a really good breakthrough, and obviously your story there, Laura, as well, was one where that sudden realization that you can do more and that you are capable of so much more. I'm just wondering if you've got anything that you could say, give advice to, etc., to those people who are trapped within their own comfort zone. And I will use that language, that terminology, because that's essentially what they are. They're trapped within their own comfort zones. They've built a wall around them, and they struggle now to break free of that. Whether it be just, we've gone through a global pandemic where people have been cooped up in the houses all the time and everything. And there are a lot of people, for example, who are still struggling to leave their homes and go out on a walk or go shopping or things like that. And obviously, not saying that you guys are the absolute experts on coming out of your comfort zones or whatever, but because you guys talk about it quite a lot, what advice would you give to people who are struggling to break free of their comfort zones that they built?
So I think there's two bits of advice from me, and it all depends genuinely what it is you're trying to do with with your comfort zone. For example, like you say, if it's someone who's scared to go out or scared to, and they slowly need to kind of build confidence, I just say take it like one step at a time. Take each new day, build on that, and then you'll look back in a week's time, and all those small incremental steps will become something big. But then I also think if it's something that you're kind of nervous to do, but like more of an adrenaline type nervous, as in like you can do it, but you're thinking like, oh my God, should I? Just say like, this is what I always do, and I'm not saying that everyone should do it, but I always say yes and then think about it later. Like I'll be like, yes, I'm going to do that, and then I'll think I've already committed to it now. I'm not going to worry about it because it's pointless. It's not going to get me anywhere. I'll just plan and prepare for it, and then like 10, 20 minutes before I do it, I feel awful, but then when it's done, I'm so proud. So I'm very much an advocate of just say yes, give it a go. What is the worst that can happen, and worry about it later. Just say yes and grab the opportunity while it's there.
I can really relate to that as well that you just said, Emily, with regards to say yes now and worry about it later. So coming out of my own comfort zone, so there's an event that happens every year called Total Warrior, which is in Leeds, a big mud run, if you will, and it's a big 12-kilometer obstacle course. Now I've done it once, and I was like, I'm never doing that again. And then a friend of mine had said, do you want to sign up to the Ultra Warrior? Now, the Ultra Warrior, for those who don't know, is you have to complete it as many times as you can do within 5 hours. So you do it lap after lap until like for the full 5 hours. And I was like, no, 100%, no. I died on the first one. I'm not going to do it again. And then he carried on asking me, and I built this thing of I would never be able to do that. I would never be able to even complete 2 laps. I struggled with one. And what I did is that I just went click and bought the ticket. I was like, done. I bought the ticket, and I was like, I've got to do it now. That's it. Yeah. So I was like, I've bought the ticket. I've just got to do it. I've got to train for it now and everything. Otherwise, I'm just going to fail. And I went there and just had fun. Like I only did like a lap and a half, but I just had fun.
You did it?
And yeah, exactly. I still signed up to it. I still rocked up. I wouldn't have done any of it at all. I wouldn't have even done the normal run if I didn't just buy the ticket, because I would have just gone, no, I've done it now. See you later. But because I just bought the ticket, I was like, I'm going to have to do it now.
I actually remember you doing that. Yeah. And I said, how much training have you done? And you went, nothing. And I went, ooh.
So question then, would you do it again now you've done it?
I've already bought the ticket for 2022 and I'm doing it again.
There you go.
And there's a few people that I've got on board with as well. And I'm just like saying to them, come on, you've got to do it. It's going to be good. Let's crack on and do it. Laura's just whispering to Emily there saying, should we do it? Should we sign up?
I can't say no, can I? So yeah.
There you go, sorry. Love it. Absolutely love it. Kerry has put a comment saying, feel the fear and do it anyway. And I think that just echoes what we've just been talking about as well.
There's no time like the present. Like you're not getting any younger. You're just gaining experience all the time. So just say yeah and give it a go.
I do think what you say, like the small steps and doing it a tiny bit at a time, is you can apply that to anything that you're going to do. Do it a tiny bit. That Liam says, 1% gains all the time. You're never going to go into the gym and lift 100 kilograms straight away. But if you add a kilogram every single week, you'll get there eventually. So it's about doing it slowly. You need to learn to cook. Okay, we'll start by boiling an egg, hon, and we'll work from there. You get there.
Laura, who's married to the chef. Laura married to the chef. Let's boil an egg.
Love it. So obviously the advice that you're giving, obviously step by step, little by little, it all makes sense. It's all about taking those little steps to get to that end goal, and it's about the journey. It's not a destination.
Risk versus reward as well for me. So you've got to think about, okay, when I'm making this decision, what are the risks that are involved? Are there any personal, physical, social risks? If there isn't, then just go for it. If there are risks in that area, then obviously it takes more thought, more training, more, a more in-depth thought before you make your decisions. It's risk versus reward as well.
let's move on and talk about, whilst we're on the subject of comfort zones and you two, just in general, how did you two get together? And obviously, we briefly talked about it because Laura, you were mentioning about the owner of BCHQ. Where did the podcast come from? Because you two do a podcast called What Comfort Zone.
That actually it evolved from that, and it's so Emily and I first met at the gym, but I think we met like face to face back when it was boot camp days, didn't we? But we didn't really know each other back then. And then obviously through lockdown, we're all working out online, we're all doing everything online, so we were chatting a little bit now and then, and it's same as we did with most of the people at the gym. You know, it was all online, all chatting via text and things like that. And suddenly I just thought, I think you'd asked me a question about the radio show or something like that. And I said, here's my idea, because Liam left because the gym's reopened, so he was kind of needed elsewhere. I said, here's my idea for a show. I want to have a different guest every single week. Somebody from the local area, somebody who's got a really good message to bring to the world, who's Preston and South Ribble and Central Lancashire. What was it again? Central Lancashire and South Ribble.
Central Lancashire and South Ribble.
But sorry, LJ, if you're watching. But I was like, this is my idea for the new show. What do you think before I sort of take it? Because I was terrified of taking this idea to LJ at the time. So there's a comfort zone push. And as I wanted it to be a platform for people like Ruth, who wanted to come do something to sort of gear her up a small step towards doing her public speaking. I wanted it to be something, a bucket list thing or something like that. You know, I wanted to have a different co-host every week, which is why I think I actually reached out to you at that point as well, before you ended up with your show as well. Yeah. So it was like finding people in the local area and doing that. And I'd said to Emily about it and I said, you know, why don't come and be my co-host this week? And she was like, yeah, all right. And then sat there and she was like, I'm not interested at all. I'm going to talk about his dogs. And she didn't. We talked about all sorts of stuff apart from, we didn't talk about dogs.
Talk about the dog, no.
No. And then halfway through the week afterwards, she was like, that was terrifying, but I'm so glad I did it. And then you halfway through the week, you said, can I come on again? Mm-hmm. So then she started coming in every single week. And then she was like, why don't we do a podcast, Laura? And I was like, oh, well, that's something I've never considered before. And then it just felt like, there's me. I knew how to play with audio and things like that. You knew how to do the social media side of it. I'm like, give it a go. What have we got to lose? Mm-hmm. So, and it turns out, you know, we've reached quite a few people. We've managed to help a few people. We've had some amazing guests as well. And now we're your guests. So
I know. It's been a long time coming. We have talked about it for a while about you coming on my show, me going on your show. And here we are. We've managed to get it down, essentially. So, yeah. What's next for the podcast?
Oh, we've got more guests lined up.
We have, yeah.
We've got some quite good guests lined up. I think just trying to keep it more around learning, because a couple of the earlier episodes were kind of us two just talking about what it meant for us.
Yeah.
And I think the more guests we've had on, the more we've realised how different people have so many different perspectives. And you've got, you know, the amazing things you can learn from a conversation. It's incredible. Like just actually sitting and listening and talking to someone and their point of view. So yeah, more guests for us, I think, in the future.
I think it's become a lot more about normal people talking about normal mental health. It's because it's not a normal thing and it's not normal enough. It's not something that you talk about day to day with your mates down the pub, is it? It's not something that people stand up and say, I've got mental ill health, or I'm struggling with my mental health today. And that should be normal, because it's quite okay to turn around and say, I've got a headache, or I can't come in today, I've got period. Well, I don't know how normal that is.
Maybe normal for you, not for me.
I don't know. But
a broken arm.
Yeah, it's not ordinary to talk about things like that, but you can't be well as a whole if your mental health is ill. So it should be more normal. So we hope that it comes across as three normal, Kerry as well, girls talking about mental health from our perspective, how we deal with our own mental health, how we push our own comfort zones, and us learning as well. We recorded an episode last week, didn't we? And we had a guest on who, like Emily and Kerry, sat there in complete shock the whole way through. They were just like, because she was so interested in her views and what she did and like how she motivates people and things like that. And we're constantly picking up snippets from people, and hopefully if we help one person, then we've done our job.
I love that. I love the aspect of, obviously, I mean, exactly what you've said about the learning side of things. And that's what Spill It's all about. The 3 pillars of Spill It are to connect, inspire, and learn. It's about inspirational people. And when I usually do the tagline and I go, oh, it's about inspirational people, and telling inspirational stories, like, people always think that they're not inspirational, like what classes themselves as an inspirational person. And I'm always like, every single person is inspirational. Like, every single person has a story to tell that can inspire someone else, which is why I do this one. And then obviously the last pillar is to learn. And every single day is a school day. And the thing is that when I started this, like, the whole learn aspect, I was like, yeah, just throw that in there. It sounds good. And actually the amount of people, I mean, I've done, this is, we're on, like, into the 60s now. We're into 67. This is episode 67. And I'm learning so much about all of these different aspects, but not even just about the different subjects that we're talking about. I'm learning more and more about me and about how I handle certain things, and how my guest will be talking about a specific subject, and it might not be have any relevance to my life, but their experiences I learn from because they're inspiring me. And it's just great for you to echo that on your podcast about the whole learning aspect, because it does have to happen. And the only way that we can destigmatize a lot of things like mental health and all that is through talking about it and through education from us all learning. And we have a
whole lot of fun doing it as well, and that's what it's all about.
Exactly. Sticking on the subject of mental health, where do you think it comes from that we don't talk about our mental health?
My view on this is that because it's not something that could be seen, it's almost shameful to say, I don't feel happy today. I don't feel, because you could sit here and say, right, what have I not got to be happy about? I've got this, I've got this, I've got this. But it's about putting those processes in place, isn't it? And I think for somebody to turn around and say, I don't feel great today, I just want a day in bed, it's seen as, people view that as being lazy. They view it as being, they just don't, people don't understand it enough to be able to have the confidence to say that you need a mental health day. And that's what we need to overcome. It's, there should be mental health first aiders in every single workplace. There should be mindfulness sessions going on everywhere so that people can just rock up and attend. It should be, I think it comes from saying, can you imagine saying to your boss, I need a mental health day. I just want to sit in a corner and cry. Because there's nothing wrong with that. If you need to get it out, you get it out. If you need to cry for the day, then fine. Pick yourself back up. Tomorrow's a new day. But I think it's because you don't know what other people are thinking and you can't see it. It's not like something like, oh, I've hurt my finger. Look, you can see it.
You had to get in there.
Yeah, I did. I really did. I've hurt my finger putting the washing away. But anyway.
We're going to have a chat after the show now. You're going to have to tell me why or how that has even happened.
I think for me, it comes from like going back. If you look back like hundreds of years, the kinds of jobs and the things that we needed to do to survive were very physical jobs. You were farming, you were doing something with the land, you were building. So I think a lot of, if those things didn't happen, then it's because you'd broken your leg or something was hurting or you couldn't physically do it. So I think that drew attention to physical health, but we didn't really start to learn about mental health until, a lot further down the process. So I just think eventually mental health and physical health will go hand in hand, but we're just a couple of 100 years behind because it's not been the focus. But I think the shift's going to start to happen when, you get people in these high pressure roles, high performing careers, that are normally tip top at the job, they're incredible. And when they start to kind of, not be working as well and start to fail and falter, and people can't understand why, and then they realize it's all linked to mental health, there's going to have to be a shift, because that is now what keeps the world turning, businesses making money and things like that. So I just think there's a couple of 100-year gap between what was needed and what we used to.
Yeah, I mean, it derives from a lot of classism, white supremacy, and the patriarchal society that we live in, where people have been branded as lazy. So for example, like a little fun fact for you, the word like deadbeat, where you would go, oh, he's like a deadbeat dad or whatever. So the word deadbeat was actually it originated like hundreds of years ago, and it was a way to call someone, like, it was when somebody was physically too tired to continue their like their job or whatever, and what it turned into was this whole negative connotation to someone being lazy. And it's that type of mentality that obviously through tens to hundreds of years later that we still are not able to talk about our mental health, because of classism, because of like white supremacy, because of the patriarchal issues that we've got within our society, because of the rich white men that are the head of our country that go, no, these are the ways that we need to live. And obviously, as I say, classism is the peak of it all, that we don't talk about our mental health. So yeah, just wanted to kind of say that as well.
I think it's sad. We'll get there eventually, though. I mean, there's people like you talking about mental health. There's people like us talking about mental health. There are BCHQ is a mental health gym. It's not just going to the gym and lifting weights. They care about your entire being and your mental health as well. The more things like that pop up across the world, the better.
Yeah, and it's only going to get better, isn't it? Like, as you quite rightly said, we're talking about it. There are tens to thousands of other people across the world that are talking about it, and it's only going to get better because more people are aware of it. More people are wanting to bring it forward and into the forefront of people's minds, because times have changed. And that's quite right, as Leela has said in the comments there, that old age of the stiff upper lip hit a lot of mental health, and that is correct. It's come from our ancestors, and people before them, where they've had this like stiff upper lip, and we don't talk about stuff like that because I mean, to start off with, as you quite rightly said, there wasn't a name for stuff like that as well. And now we're in this age of discovering all of this and being able to put a label on stuff. And as I say, it's only going to get better. One of the things that I wanted to talk about as well is that you have mentioned it quite a few times, and then you've got quite a few people in the comments who are watching you from this organization. And I want you to explain, because we've used the abbreviations BCHQ. Tell me what BCHQ is, what they do, and how it helps people with regards to comfort zones.
Body Confidence headquarters is BCHQ.
Yeah, it's Liam, who I mentioned earlier. He started up this facility. It's a gym in Grimsby. We're both proper, like, started right at the beginning, didn't we? We watched it grow into what it is today. But Liam, he doesn't. It's not a gym where people can just come and lift weights and run around and skip and jump and do burpees.
Take selfies in the mirror.
Yeah, no, there's no taking selfies in the mirror. It is. Honestly, I live and breathe this. I wear the stuff constantly. But it's called the Accelerated Confidence Program. So basically, it focuses on three things: so your mind and your body, your career or business, and yay, Lucy, and family balance as well. And you set goals and targets for each of those things. So it's very much balanced within. It's not just how you look, it's how you feel as well. And gaining that confidence. And there's been so many success stories. I mean, yours truly, for a start, when I moved back down from Scotland, I moved back to my hometown, but a lot of my friends weren't in the same sort of place anymore. They'd moved away, or they're at different points in their lives. There will be more gyms at some points, Stephen, don't you worry. He's working on it. It's in the plan. But it's not far from Leyland, hon. It's like 15 minutes. Anyway. What was I saying then? I moved back down here, and I was... I didn't really know anybody anymore apart from my sister and my dad, and my, at the time, 2-year-old nephew. And joining BCHQ when I first went in there for one-to-one PT, which was probably like 2.5 years ago now. I met people down there. I became friends with, two of my closest friends around here are from BCHQ, Emily and Kerry. It's a whole community. Every single bit. You see how many people here are in the comments to cheer us on. That's because of the community vibe there. And we go and we do things together. So as a community, like we did the Yorkshire Three Peaks, for example. What a challenge that is. Every single person got as far as he could with it. We did Scarfell Park the other week, and Lucy, she struggled at the beginning, didn't you, Lucy? And she was like, I don't think I can do this. And we all rallied around her, and we got you up that mountain.
Yeah, got her up the mountain.
It's not just lifting weights.
It's not just coming, doing your class and going home. It's a whole life audit, really.
Yeah.
I love that. For anybody who might be interested in learning more about BCHQ, make sure that you check the show notes, and you'll see a link for BCHQ so you can find out more. We're coming towards the end of the show. Is there anything that we haven't discussed that you would like the opportunity to discuss now?
I think I'd like to point out, I know you put it in the show description, but 21 years ago, my mum passed away of breast cancer, and this month is Breast Cancer Awareness Month. So, girls, go and give yourselves a good feel, okay? And that's me.
and to be fair, yes, that is correct. Make sure that it'll sound weird if I say it, so you can say it again if you want.
Copperfield.
Yeah. Make sure you know your own bodies and go and see the doctors. They are open. You can talk to them. You can get referrals. It's really important. And it doesn't just stop there. Make sure that you go and get in all the tests. I'm not going to say it. In fact, imagine yourself doing a butterfly sit-up, girls. That's the test I'm talking about. But make sure you're doing all that sort of stuff, because it's something really, really close to my heart, and it's really nice to be able to get it out there. So everybody make sure you know your own body, and if you can raise a little bit of money to breast cancer awareness, then do it.
There you go. It is, as Laura said, it is Breast Cancer Awareness Month. So we'll put a link to the Breast Cancer Awareness charity organisation as well in the show notes, so make sure that you check them out. I'll also put a link to the NHS website, which will be able to show you ways that you'll be able to obviously have a feel around in the correct way to see yourself. Essentially.
There you go.
Stephen has dropped a comment as well, saying guys as well. Yes, very, very, very correct. Obviously, we talking about breast cancer awareness, because obviously it's more prominent, let's say, in females or people who identify as females. So we obviously have to be mindful of that. But yes, you are correct, guys as well. You need to know your body as well, so make sure that you are feeling yourselves.
Absolutely.
Lucy says that you're too funny, Laura.
Yeah, okay. Thanks. I feel like I was talking about something really serious then. I'm glad
I think it was the actions that went with it, with the cheesy grin on your face.
What's this?
Nothing to
I
be
think-
scared of,
I think that was
ladies.
it.
Give yourself a feel.
I love it. I love it. Some with regard going back to the subject matter at hand, comfort zones. What should people be remembering when it comes to their comfort zones?
Just do it and think about it later.
Simple as that.
All small, simple steps, but remember to look back at your progress. That's really important. Don't just do the small steps and not reflect. You need to reflect on how far you've come.
Yeah.
Brilliant. I love it. Now, where can people find you if they wanted to listen to your podcast or to get more information on how you have overcome your own little comfort zones that you've set up? Where can people find you?
Well, you can usually find me either in the gym or the pub.
I mean, she's not wrong, to be fair.
No, if you go on to Instagram and the butterflies, see, she knows. You know what I'm talking about, Lucy. Yeah, if you head on to Instagram and Facebook, it is at What Comfort Zone Podcast. You search for us there and you'll find us.
You can ask Alexa to play What Comfort Zone Podcast.
Oh, fancy. I've never actually tried that with mine. Thanks for giving me that tip. I'm going to try and...
All right, should we try it now?
No. In case it fails. We'll try it after the show.
Yeah. But yeah, on the podcast you can listen to on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, all the normal platforms, can't you?
Yeah.
So yeah, give us a listen. It's just three real girls. Sorry, it's because the two of us are sitting here. Kerry, I haven't forgotten you, I promise. But it's just real people talking about real things and learn with us.
Yeah,
that's
Love
it.
Okay, so we now move on to the final parts of the episode. I'm just wondering if you've got some final thoughts for us all today.
That stop using excuses, and if you're using the same excuse all the time, then you're finding a stupid reason to not do something. So just go and do it.
Yeah.
Because Laura says so. Okay.
Laura says just do it.
Yeah. Ooh. New branding.
I see t-shirts in the future.
Yeah, maybe we should do what you do and get ourselves some merch. What do you think?
Yeah.
Honestly, you should do. Like it flies out my merch, but more on that later, guys. But yeah, the merch side of things. I mean, we'll talk after the show. But yeah, like just little taglines like that, people love them.
Yeah.
So, yeah. Now, at the end of every episode, I give my guests the opportunity to give a quote. Now, it can be something that they stand by, live by. It could be something that they've heard that they just really like, or it could be something that they've made up that they think, this is how I'm going to live my life. And we're going to start with you, Laura. Have you got a quote for us today?
Yes.
And then, if you can tell us your quote and what that quote means to you.
Yeah, well, this is it's Peter Pan, isn't it?
Yes.
Yeah. It's actually on the wall of my dressing room, and it just, I mean, what's going to happen if you fall? It actually also reminds me of a really good RuPaul song. You know which one I mean, don't you?
Yeah, Fly. It's called Fly. Yeah.
Yeah. But yeah, it just, I mean, stop asking yourselves what if.
Yeah.
Go for it. You might really excel at it. And if you don't, everybody always needs a giggle now and then.
Mm-hmm.
So
Love
yeah,
it.
what if I fall? But what
Yeah.
if you fly?
Mm-hmm.
And Emily, have you got a quote for us today as well?
I do. Mine's short and sweet. It goes the way of, I am a lion. And this is something that the Hulmes say to each other whenever they're going to do something that's out of the comfort zone or that might be making them nervous, no matter what it is. You know, we say, I am a lion, and we repeat it until we believe it. But it's kind of become, I mean, I think I've said it in BCHQ sometimes. So I think there's quite a few girls at BCHQ that also use the same mantra. So yeah, the whole "I am a lion" from the Hulme family is spreading far and wide.
Yeah.
It's true though. It changes your mindset.
It does. I've used it when I've pulled up to a meeting I'd obviously want to walk into, and I'd be like, "I am a lion." You kill it.
I love it, and I'm sure that your mum, who will be listening, or should be listening still anyway, will appreciate the fact that mantra is spreading further and further. I just want to say a massive thank you for coming on the show. It's been a long time coming. As I said at the start, we have talked about this for quite a while, and I'm so happy to have had you on the show. It's been an absolute treat. And I can't wait to come onto your show. That's going to be exciting, eh?
Yeah, no, thank you for getting a date in for that. So yeah, no, it's been lovely. Thank you.
Thank you. You are now free to say your goodbyes.
Thank you for listening.
Bye. Wow. What an amazing episode that was. I absolutely loved that. Two people who I absolutely adore as well. Great people. Mother Hulme is here as well. So I certainly am. So she was still listening, and obviously still very happy about the fact that I am a lion is spreading further and further and further. Great. Absolutely love this episode. Amazing. And as I said, you check the show notes and you'll be able to catch up with Emilie and Laura on their podcast, What Comfort Zone 2. Next week on Spill It, I am going to be speaking with Megan Reynolds. Megan is a scare actor. So she goes to, like things like Scare Kingdom and things like that. And she's one of those people who are who walk around and they get paid to scare you. Well, this will be episode 68, Things That Go Bump in the Night. And Megan will be here in the Spill It hot seat to talk about what it's like being a scare actor, and also what it was like being a scare actor during the pandemic as well, because all of that is really, really important, and it's an art form. Well, all the art acting, all of that has been seriously neglected throughout the pandemic. So all of that and more next week. My name is Marcus Wright, and you can contact me with everything to do with Spill It over on marcus@spillit.uk. When I don't do this, I run a coaching business. I run a life coaching business, teaching people how to step out of their own way, to hush that inner saboteur and say goodbye to that little voice in their head that says that you are not good enough. You can find all of that and more MW coaching over on my website at www.spillit.uk, where you'll also be able to see every single episode of Spill It. You'll be able to see all of the links for the visual podcast. You'll be able to see everything for the audio podcast, and you'll also be able to find ways to support me. If you wanted to support me and the work that I do, then you can head over to the Spill It website, www.spillit.uk, and you'll be able to join the official Patreon, for example, where it's literally just £2 per month. And that helps Spill It keep growing, and you get to be part of the Spill It community over there. There are other ways that you can support me as well. You can head over to the website and buy merch. Merch is available. We have got the Spill It beanie hats with the little leather teacup there saying Spill It. They're available, and they're going on sale as well as we go into the October months towards Halloween. Some good scary ones going in. I say scary ones. No, they're like black. You can get a black one on offer because it's Halloween. And dark and spooky. Black hat. There you go. You can also get hoodies and t-shirts as well with the Spill It logo, with the tidal wave teacup, and also you can get a little bit of merch, t-shirts and hoodies as well. And last but not least, what you can do is that you can invite people into the Spill It community by sharing the podcast and sharing the YouTube channel, the Facebook page, etc. And finally, you can leave a review. So wherever you're listening to this on your podcast streaming service, just head over and leave me a review. I love seeing all the reviews as well. There's some really funny ones. And I always give out merch as well, free merch, to those who leave me a funny podcast review. So why don't you head over there and make me laugh? Love it. Thank you so much to everybody who has tuned in and watched this evening. Thank you again to my amazing guests, both Laura and Emilie. What a great episode it was this evening. And until we spill it again, it's bye for now. Thank you so much for watching this week's episode of Spill It. If you haven't subscribed yet, now is the perfect time to do so. Spill It goes live every week on Wednesday at 7 p.m. on Facebook, YouTube, and Twitch. And a special thank you to these amazing teacups.